We want to thank the combined color guards of the Ligonier Valley Veterans Honor Guard and the Latrobe Honor Guard. We also want to mention, as part of the Honor Guard this year, we have 3 canine units. Tim Bliss from the city of McKeesport and Canine Harry, Brian Armstrong from Forest Hills and Canine Loki, and Eric Eslaury from Ligonier Township and Canine Ando. And also we want to welcome our friends from the Somerset Police Department. The Marine Corps Band from Quantico, Virginia. Coming up now, as I said, a direct descendant of General John Forbes and the man who was chairman of the 250th celebration, Mr. Charles Fagan, and Professor Lawrence Forbes Kippy. Riding in a carriage from Misty Haven Carriages. Coming up now, one of the reenactors you will be seeing throughout this parade today. This is the Lord Mayor from 1758. The Lord Mayor, portrayed by Ligonier's own mayor, Mr. Ormond Butch Bellis. As we mentioned before, the prototype for this parade and for this celebration was set in 1958 with the bicentennial celebration. And that included at the time a bicentennial queen pageant. This year, we were fortunate enough to coax back the Queen and her court from the 1958 bicentennial celebration, Sandy Miles Need and her court, Kathy West Thomas and Carolyn Jones Hoover. So they are coming up. Also riding in the car in the front is the man who was one of the chief organizers of the 1958 bicentennial celebration and a lifelong resident of Ligonier, one of our civic leaders for years, Mr. Arch Sweeney. He is the Grand Marshal for our 250th celebration, and we are delighted to have him. And I might mention that driving the car with Mr. Sweeney is one of the co-chairmen of this year's celebration, Mr. Bill Stabline. Now, as we mentioned, the bicentennial Queen and her court from 1958, Sandy Miles Need, who came here all the way from California, thank you, Sandy, Kathy West Thomas, who comes from Ohio, and Carolyn Jones Hoover, who only had to come from Stallstown. Coming up next is one of our float winners. It is the first float, it's the 4th place winner, actually, the Colonel Henry Bouquet Award. And it goes to the class of 1958 at Ligonier High School. The float portrays significant and inconsequential matters in the educational history of the members of Ligonier class of 1958. Their high school had wood floors and institutional green walls. The blackboards were the major visual aids. The popular dress included saddle shoes and poodle skirts for the girls, and not much changes sometimes, blue jeans for the boys. And as we also mentioned back in 1958, there was a couple, Mr. and Mrs. Robert Shaw, who was married during Bicentennial Week. They are back today to join us for that 50th happy anniversary to you. Happy 50th. Bob and Mary Jane Shaw. If you didn't have a chance, last night the Marine Band from Quantico performed at Ligonier High School Auditorium. Unfortunately, they have to leave following the parade today and won't be able to perform for us again. I am told they are performing tomorrow at the Washington Redskins football game in the nation's capital. But we were delighted to have them here. We were glad that they were able to beat the traffic and get here in time. You will notice there will be lots of reenactment groups taking part in our parade today, and coming up are some of them, led by the New Haven Hose Company Bagpipe Band from Connellsville, Pennsylvania. The Bagpipe Band consists of 10 to 18 pipers, 5 drummers, and the drum major. And behind the pipe band are some of the forces that fought the Battle of Fort Ligonier. The British and French troops from Fort Ligonier, we had to keep them apart, of course. Almost the entire garrison from the British group, the 42nd RH Regiment, which is the French troops. And again, they will be reenacting the Battle of Fort Ligonier later today at both 2 p.m. and 4 p.m. We should do this every year. We thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for participating in our parade this year. It's great to have you. Also coming up now is Ken Lone Wolf Long. He is a Shawnee Native American whose ancestors fought the British armies at Fort Necessity, the Battle of the Monongahela and Bushy Run, as well as against Fort Ligonier. And Ken has been a regular participant with us at Fort Ligonier Days. Ken, good to have you back. Coming up now, the Drums of Native Sisters. It is a women's drum group. The women who have come together in this circle come from many different nations: Crow, Seneca, Lakota, Micmac, Cherokee. 5 women and 4 young women make up the group. And they say drumming is about prayers. It is the heartbeat of the people and Mother Earth. And in the Native world, the drum is considered a sacred instrument. Coming up now, the Laurel Valley homecoming king and queen and their court. And I apologize because I don't have your names. I am so sorry. But it is the king and the queen and the court, and we are delighted to have you here. And now the joint high school bands from Ligonier Valley and Laurel Valley Junior Senior High School. And behind the Ligonier and Laurel Valley High School marching bands, please welcome the Ligonier Valley Air Force Junior ROTC. The marching unit consists of 25 members under the command of Neil Nancy and Haley TeCaesar. And we told you about the Bicentennial Queen pageant. This year they held the Miss Ligonier pageant, of course. The queen is Courtney Moskis. The first runner-up is Lauren Bozar, and the second runner-up is Heather Smenkowitz. We have an announcement. With the daughter of Louise Grange, please report to the First Aid Center as soon as possible, please. And as we told you before, we have 25, count them, former Miss Ligoniers. We are delighted to have you here, ladies. "25." So now, I don't know how far some of you had to come back, but thank you for coming and being part of our celebration today. 25 former Miss Ligoniers. Coming up now, meet Miss Pennsylvania. The winner of the Miss Pennsylvania Scholarship Pageant is Kendria Perry. She was crowned Miss Pennsylvania on Saturday, July 12th in Nazareth, Pennsylvania. She is a 23-year-old from Pittsburgh, a graduate student at Carnegie Mellon University's Heinz School of Public Policy and Management. She says she doesn't know how she can compete with 25 queens. She's doing a very good job of it. And of course, she will compete in the Miss America pageant coming up in January. Now, please welcome the Victorian Ladies of Scottsdale. This group looks back on the era with wistful nostalgia, I might add. A world of lacy dresses and lavish balls and country house parties. But the ladies also participate and donate to a number of community projects and charities. The Victorian Ladies of Scottsdale. Coming up now, Mr. Dave Byers and his Willys Army Jeep and trailer. And little Noelle is in the front with Granddad. Coming up now, the Shirley Percherons, a team of 2 black Percheron geldings, King and Travis. They live on a farm, but they like the thrill of parades and show. And it is Lee and Shirley Bedillion and their son Brenton from West Alexander, Pennsylvania. And Mr. Burns, Benji Burns, up there as well. This is part of history as well. If any of you are familiar with DeLallo's Italian store on the far side between Greensburg and Jeanette, right off Route 30. Well, this is their original truck. And they are celebrating 58 years in the business.